Good morning, grade 10. We're going to do page 103 and 104, activity 5.7, starting with this explanation of the truth tables. Now, these two tables you will use right through to grade 12 and beyond. What it means is, if a statement is true or another statement is true, then together that whole statement will be true. And then we go on to, if one statement is false or the second statement is true, then together those statements with separated by or will be true. And there we go again, with one is true or another statement is false, then together those two statements have a true value. And the very last, if one statement is false or another statement is false, then together, joined together with an or, you have a false statement. And now we come with and. If we use and not or, if one statement is true and another statement is true, then together they will be true. But if one statement is false and another statement is true, then together they will be false. And the same with one statement being true and another statement being false, together that will be a false statement. And then lastly, if one statement is false and another statement is false, then together they will be false. Now, if you just memorize these truth tables, then you will be fine. We're going to do this activity. We're going to use the truth tables. Activity 5.7.1. We've got a variable a equals 1, b equals 2, c is 5.5, and d is 8.1. So c and d are real numbers. Letter equals s, so that's a character s, and test, which will be a Boolean data type, will be equal to true. Now we're going to evaluate these statements to see whether they're true or false. So is b greater than 0? Yes, it is. And b less than 5? Yes, it is. So together that statement is true. Second one, is c less than d? Yes, c is less than d, or letter equals a small s. Now, letter is not a small s, so this statement is false, but there's a or, and the first statement is true, therefore true or false is true. You look at the truth tables, true or false is true. Okay, now the next one, b mod 2 equals 0. b is 2, so 2 divided by 2 is no remainder, so that's 0, that's true. And not test, well, that not will basically change true to false. Test is true, and this statement is saying, okay, the first one is true, and, well, the second statement is false. But what not test will be a false result. Not is like the opposite of true. Whatever test is, you just use the opposite. So if test is true, you put a not in front of it, then that whole statement is false. So we have true and false. What do we have for true and false? True and false is false. So that statement is false. So the next one, test. When they just say test, we mean test equals true. Test is true, so that's fine. So true, and is the letter equal to s? Yes. True and true is true. And soon you won't have to look at these truth tables. True and true equals true. All right, moving on to the next activity. So here's some code. We have a real number, an integer, r val real, r val int is integer, c character is a char data type, s string is a string data type, and b test is a Boolean data type. Now we're going to say, we look at these statements. A, r val real equals 0. Can the real number be 0? Yes, it can, so that is true. R val nt int is less than 100? Yes, we can have an integer less than 100, so true or true is true. So next one, R val real greater than naught. Yes, R val real can be greater than naught, but this over here, the less than statement, this is not valid. Okay, it's not valid because you can't have a statement R val greater than naught and less than 100. You've got to put R val real over here. You can't write it like that. So the expression is not valid. Well, this is a valid statement, okay? They want to know if they're valid or not. Sorry, true or false, but valid is the actual indicate whether the expression is valid or invalid. If it's invalid, correct the expression. So I'm going to write B over here. R val real is greater than naught. And we're going to put brackets around it. Oops. Got to put brackets around it, and then we're going to say and then the next one, R val real is less than 100. So that is the statement that you have to put in for number B. Okay, R val real, and that's how you have to write it and encode. Now, not B test. Well, that's a valid statement. You can say not in front of a Boolean variable. You put the Boolean variable. That's also okay. Can S string be equal to 50.1? No, because that's a number, so it's invalid. You have to say the following: S string equals, in inverted commas, 50.1. You've got to put inverted commas around the number because string is S string is a string. Right, so now we're going to do this test. No, that's not valid because test is not a variable. You've got to say B test. So this one's also invalid. Immediately I can see that's invalid because you have to say B test. There's no variable called test anywhere. There's only B test. And the next statement, or not, and in brackets C character equal to J. The second expression is also not right because the J has to be in inverted commas. See that? The J must be in inverted commas. You can't say a character equals just the letter J without quoting it with single inverted commas. Characters and strings must have single inverted commas around it. So that one's invalid. So that's the answer for those. Right. Right, now we're going to do the truth tables again. True and true. What will be the result of true and true? We know that'll be true. True or false will be false. I mean, sorry, not false. Check it out. Let's have a look. True or false is true. Now this one, false or not false. That means false or true. So that will still be true. False or true is true. False or true is true. True or false or false. Well, when you see or, the only time something is going to be false is if everything is false. But there is one true there. So therefore this statement will still be true. Because false or false will be false, and true or false is still true. And here we have another one. True or false is true. Okay. And true. So with and, true and true is true. Now we have not false or true and true. Well, false or true gives us true. Not true is false. Not true. This one is true, not true is false, so that whole thing is false. False and true gives us false. So that whole statement is false. Right, so here we have something involving numbers and strings, etc. Is 5 greater than 4? Yes, that's true. Is the character 3 equal to 3? No, that is a false statement. You can't say a character equals a number. So true and false gives us false. So this statement is false. Okay, square root of 16 equals 4. Yes, that is true. True or. And let's say 15 is less than 10 plus 5. Well, 15 is equal to 10 plus 5. So this second one is false. The first one is true, but true or false gives us true. Okay, next one. Not. Hello equals hello. Well, the hello with a capital H is not equal to a hello with a small h. Okay, they're both strings, so that's fine. But the number that the computer recognizes for a capital H is not the same as a small h. Therefore, this statement is false. But if you put a not false will result in a true. So that one is true. True and is 4 greater than or equal to round of 3.5. Or if you round 3.5, then 4 can either be greater than or equal to, and it's definitely equal. So this is true. And that is true because the false was changed to a true with that not in front of it. So true and true will give us true. And that's the end of that. So memorize these truth tables and you will never go wrong.